So some breaking news for you as Forest and Newcastle have agreed a deal on Elliot Anderson. Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to some breaking Forest transfer news. Coming up, we'll be telling you about Elliot Anderson, Mr. Anderson, Neo himself, as a deal has been reached between Forest and Newcastle. If you're enjoying the content, if you're watching this in the middle of the night, you are the true ones. Make sure I know by hitting that like, subscribe to the channel, have your notifications on for breaking news like this. Let me know what time you're watching this video down in the comments below. I don't know, I'm just nosy. And just a quick reminder, before we get into the news, we've got the watch along for the England game. It'll be on YouTube and on playback. If you're not following us on playback, please, if you don't mind, show us some love. Scan this QR code or click the link that's pinned in the comments. Okay, let's talk about Mr. Anderson, Newcastle player, 21 years old. And David Ornstein, shout out to him, by the way, he's been absolutely knocking it out of the park this transfer window. He has broken the news. Let me read you out his tweet. Exclusive. He says, Newcastle United agree a deal with Nottingham Forest for permanent transfer of Elliot Anderson. Newcastle reluctantly parting ways with the 21-year-old midfielder to help PSR compliance. Academy graduate willing to move, and Nottingham Forest medical expected to follow. And I kind of like this, not because I necessarily like the player. Look, for me, with Anderson, when we were talking about him yesterday, it was a case of I preferred the winger that we were being linked to, and Anderson was like, yeah, whatever. I only really remember him, I think it was against Brighton Newcastle played, where he got 2 goals. But he's actually been quite predominant in the Newcastle setup and team over the last couple of years. He's even had a loan out to Bristol Rovers a couple of years back. But he's played, let me just give you his stats quickly. He's played 42 games for Newcastle, 44, sorry, for Newcastle, 21 last season, 22 the season before, and he got only 2 goals last year. So they must have both been that Brighton game I'm talking about. Excuse me, hay fever. So he plays in central midfield, which I still think we're weak in. I said when we did our position of priority, midfielder, maybe potentially CDM, those are the ones I think Forest need to bolster so we can gain some control in matches from the midfield. So I like the idea of this signing. But what I really like about this signing is 2 things. That Newcastle don't want to sell him. And after this Shelby fiasco, should we call it, and after the amount we paid for Chris Wood, which, okay, we can argue now is probably value for money with the amount of goals Nuno got out of him, I like the fact that Forest are holding Newcastle under their foot with their foot on the throat, rather than the other way around. It was getting frustrating last year where we were turning into the Newcastle retirement home, and now the tables have turned and Forest are in charge. So why is this all happening? Because Newcastle have to sell by the end of today. Otherwise, they are screwed on PSR. Big time. Whereas Forest, who manage their accounts, shall we say, a lot better. Okay, I say that with tongue in cheek. We are completely fine on PSR. Forest are clear. I can officially confirm to you, Forest have no PSR worries. Now we can get on with the business of recruiting the players we want to do. With Elliot, he fits the profile that the club are looking for. Young, 21-year-old. He'll also be down as being, a homegrown player in terms of the allowance and things. And he doesn't count as a registered player because he's under 23. So that 25-man squad, he's basically a freebie in it. There's a lot to like about him. Hardworking, runs around the pitch a lot. But I'm going to be honest with you, he's not a player who's on my radar or that I've noticed too much, apart from I recall those goals against Brighton. I think he's like slid in for one because bad back pass. I can't remember. It's something like that. So in terms of the fees, we don't know what the fees are yet. Honestly, no idea. There are talks that it could be 10 million, but I can't confirm or deny that for you. Probably have another video out tomorrow morning or afternoon confirming the figures once we hear them. But the main thing is he wants to come to Forest as well. And because Newcastle don't want to let him go, I expect that Forest have pulled their pants down on this deal. For once we are the pullers rather than the police. And that for me fills me with joy. So hopefully Forest have really undersold Newcastle on this. His valuation on the market is in and around, I think, 13 to 15 million, something like that. So if Forest have got it for 10 million, that's a good deal in itself. So that's the latest breaking news on Elliott. What do you guys think about it? There's going to be a lot of you who have watched more of him than I have, so I'm keen to get your thoughts on him. We'll probably speak to a couple of our Newcastle mates, see what they think is, the story behind this. Are they really as sad to let him go as the likes of Eddie Howe are making out and everything? And how quickly are Newcastle going to do this? Well, I expect them to want this signed, sealed and delivered by 11 o'clock tonight. So we'll keep you posted on all of this as it develops. Get your thoughts in down below. And don't forget, as I mentioned, we'll probably be back with another video tomorrow afternoon sometime. And then we've got the England match for the watch along. Can England get past, which one is it, Slovakia or Slovenia? I can never remember. So we'll see you on those. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And make sure those bells are on, because random videos like this will come up. We haven't had to do one like this since we signed Lodi in the middle of the night. We'll see you later on. Come on, you Reds.